So good, so good, so good.
Spring styles are at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and they're up to 60% off. Stock up and save on Rag & Bone, Madewell, Vince, All Saints, and more of your favorites.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Why do we rack? For the hottest deals. Just so many good brands.
Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Good morning, it's Wednesday, March 25, and this is the Brussels Playbook Podcast. I'm Zoya Sheftalovich, and with me today is our senior EU politics editor, Ian Wishart. Hey, Ian.
Morning again, Zoya. How are you?
I'm well. I've been watching the elections in Denmark. Have you been?
Yes, that's what we're going to start this morning on. It looks like a pretty disastrous result for the Prime Minister.
Yes and no. Disastrous, but still she won. It's just she did not do very well. She's really lost a bunch of her vote share.
So what happens next? There's sort of coalition building now. We've got a story in Politico about the kingmaker, this man that everybody here will know, Lars Løkke Rasmussen.
Yeah, that's right. He's the Danish foreign minister, the leader of the centrist moderate party, and
He was the Prime Minister, but that's why people here know him a lot in Brussels.
that's right. All around the European Council summit table, he's well known, and his party is looking like it might really swing the balance. And so Mette Frederiksen, she's going to be trying to retain her prime ministership and stick around for a third term, but a lot of it is going to be up to old Lars Løkke Rasmussen, who likes to use soap to brush his teeth, apparently.
Yeah, we wrote that story on Politico. So bottom line anyway, Frederiksen is terrible result for her, but it looks like she's the most likely person to be Prime Minister again.
Yeah, it does. And I think a key thing in this campaign for Frederiksen was this 5% tax on fortunes exceeding 2.3 million, a wealth tax.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned yesterday that a lot of the foreign media were talking about how this was an election that came after the big Greenland grab. It's quite likely that she called the election early because of that surge in her popularity. But actually, the campaign itself was dominated by, as you say, things like the wealth tax, cost of living,
Housing, environment, yeah.
and quality of water supply a lot, which I found quite interesting.
Well, I do love some water. All right, listen. I do. I'm a thirsty gal. Ian, we're going to do things a bit differently today. Yesterday, I sat down with the EU's Housing and Energy Commissioner Dan Jørgensen at Politico's Competitive Europe Summit.
How did that go?
It was super interesting. We had a chat about the crisis that's being caused by the Strait of Hormuz, the fact that energy prices for Europe are up. And yeah, it was a super interesting discussion about what his portfolio is really all about. We've got plenty more with me and Ian after, including a return to Treegate.
Oh, really?
Don't act so stumped.
Mate. Let's have a quick listen.
Let's do it. G'day.
G'day.
The vibe in Brussels today, well, it's chilly because all of us are turning off our heating and not filling up our cars because we're worried about rising energy prices. Commissioner Jørgensen, you are the Commissioner for Energy and Housing. I don't think there is a more key portfolio at the moment. How are you doing?
Well, when you put it like that. No, seriously, obviously, we live in turbulent times. Energy is at the center of many of the challenges that we face. We are in a process of getting rid of our dependency of Russian gas. So there's the security dimension. There's the price dimension because prices are high. They were even before the present crisis in the Middle East. This hurts our competitiveness. It hurts our citizens because of high costs of living. There's decarbonization still, of course, as a main focus point in our energy system because we need to fight climate change. At the same time, housing is considered one of the biggest challenges in many, many member states because it's simply too expensive.
Yeah, I just undertook a bit of a search in Brussels and it was a challenge and I think I'm luckier than most. So what can be done? I mean, people around the bloc are feeling this cost of living crisis and we've got perma-crises now. It feels a bit like 2022 when the war first broke out in Ukraine. We were all kind of suddenly struck with this energy emergency.
Yeah.
But it's years down the track, 4 years down the track, and we're feeling the same sorts of pressures. What can the Commission do?
Well, in a way, it's similar. It's similar because people are struggling to pay their bills. But if we dive into an analysis of what is actually happening, it's quite different. One of the reasons it's different is that we are better situated now to dealing with the crisis. In 22, we were heavily dependent on gas from Russia. Today, that dependency is, of course, of a different nature. We get zero coal, we get almost no oil, and we get around 10% of our gas from Russia, and we're getting out of that dependency also. We have also deployed much more renewables. This means that we have more homegrown energy and we have more cheap energy. So in many ways, we've moved forward. Now, the reason why this hurts us so hard as it does, the present situation, is that when the world market prices goes up, it doesn't really matter so much what your sources are. If you are dependent on fossils, you will be hurt.
That kind of brings into the room the elephant in the room, which is this Iran war. And of course, the EU is not really doing much and can't do all that much to stop that. What can Europe do when you've got such vast geopolitical problems that are really hoiking the rug out from under Europe's feet when we're trying to bring prices down?
It is true that there's no one simple answer, there's no silver bullet, but there's a range of different things that you can do that will help member states and will help citizens and companies. We do have quite flexible state aid rules that makes it possible for member states to say, okay, this group of vulnerable citizens, we will help them economically to face this crisis, or these types of industry will help them lower their energy bills.
The other element here, though, is that there is a taboo topic that seems to be potentially coming back onto the stage. So we saw at that European Council summit, per my reporting, that there was one leader, Bart de Wever, who asked within that European Council summit whether it was time to start discussing imports and getting rid of that Russian oil phase out and come back to that Russian oil. Is it time to start that discussion now? He didn't say necessarily that he wanted to do that, but he asked the group, is it time to have that discussion? We also know that there is this dispute over the Druzhba pipeline, which is that pipeline that carries Russian oil through Ukraine to Hungary and Slovakia. And Viktor Orbán, the Hungarian Prime Minister, has made hay out of that pipeline. It seems to me like this crisis has really helped one man and one man only, and that man is Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. Is there now this pragmatic kind of tide turning back towards dependency on Russian gas, or at least being open to Russian gas and oil and so forth?
So now I'm going to do something that I, as a former podcast host myself, know that you will like. I will be very direct and maybe not so diplomatic. No, there is no road back to dependency of Russian energy. In my opinion, in the future, we should not again ever import as much as one molecule of Russian energy.
I want to ask you about your home country, the country you know best. Your country, fellow countrymen, countrywomen are going to the polls today.
Yes, indeed.
It is a snap election that was called in response to, or after, perhaps not necessarily directly in response to, but after this Greenland crisis, after Donald Trump started saying that he was going to take Greenland by force. How has the impact of those threats affected Danes?
I don't think I've met a single Dane that hasn't been truly shocked. A lot of sadness, to be honest, probably also a lot of anger. I know also a lot of people that were afraid, especially I know a lot of people in Greenland that were terrified. So, yes, it's clear it affects everybody. But I will also say it hasn't only affected us in Denmark, it's affected all of Europe. And I've been touched and so proud to be a part of a union that has stood up for Denmark, for Greenland, for our community. So the support we've been getting from Europe, some people talk about the Greenland moment. I think that might be right, because I think probably the European Union has changed because of this, for the good, I would say, because we stand shoulder by shoulder.
Might Greenland have changed? Could this be the trigger for it to come and join the European Union, where at least it has some degree of security and safety in numbers?
That's not up to me to say, but I don't think I will offend anybody by also extending to maybe even some of the listeners to this podcast some gratitude. I can definitely do it on my own behalf and on government of Denmark. I know them well enough that I can do that, but I think also this would be true for most Greenlandic people, that they would also agree that we really thank our partners and friends in the European Union for the support we've got. We have traditionally, Denmark, been a country where there's been a lot of skepticism towards the EU, and we've had referendums, and some of them, the more pro-European side, have lost. Now, this has fundamentally changed. We've never had such a broad support for the European Union as we have now. But, maybe it's not that strange that you could wish that it didn't have to come to this, of course. But when you're really under pressure, when you're really threatened, then you really see the value of having good friends and having a very close community. And we need to make our union stronger, military, but also on the portfolio that I'm responsible for, which is energy, because there is no security without energy security.
That was really interesting, Zoya, and it was nice to hear a commissioner be humorous and be fun and be charismatic on stage and on a recording.
It's all to be expected from a former podcaster, so...
And I think the thing that struck me was when he said that Europe was phasing out Russian gas and oil and there wouldn't be any left to use.
Yeah, he was pretty unequivocal there. Hey, Ian.
Yes?
Yesterday, we spoke about a Eurovision-style competition for trees, which I know you loved.
Oh, I did love, yeah. Is there another one today?
Yep, Eurovision-style competition for who's going to get to host the new EU-wide customs agency. That's taking place today.
Wow. And who's going to win?
I don't know. There's 9 cities vying for it. It's actually quite an important agency, to be fair. Basically, there are 27 different customs agencies, one for each country.
And they're policing things like these dodgy packages that come and go across borders.
Yeah, dodgy toys, cosmetics that don't comply with EU rules, obviously illegal drugs. And the plan is to overhaul EU customs law by creating just one agency, which is meant to come about in 2028.
So where is it going to be? Can we reveal that now?
I wish, Ian. I don't have those kinds of sources. Well, mainly because they haven't done the voting yet. So the 3 EU institutions are going to be voting today. There's 9 cities in the running: Porto, Liège, Bucharest, Lille, Warsaw, Malaga, Zagreb, The Hague and Rome.
Who do you want to win?
Ooh, maybe Liège, hometown favourite. What about you?
Lille, I think, though that's not too far away either.
Oh, I get it.
This is a really intricate way of voting, which people can read about on the POLITICO website today, and also see some beautiful illustrations from our illustrator, Natalia Delgado.
Yeah, it's really stunning and really simplifies matters. But the favourites, there are a few favourites. It's Lille, Warsaw, Malaga, Zagreb and The Hague. And it's super attractive to get one of these EU agencies in your town.
I'm really interested, actually, into the effort that goes into the charm offensive when, all these delegations go round to these individual cities when the contests take place. They talk about, you can come here and come to our great schools. We've got a great health system and things like that. It's not just simply about choosing a city for a organisation.
Yeah, and the reason that these cities want to host these agencies, there are a few things. One is you get hundreds of well-paid EU employees coming in, boosting your local economy, going to your local private schools, shopping in your shops. So that's a boon. But then there's also the soft power element.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, it's if you host an agency in your country, then you've got kind of an outsized role in shaping its policies and decisions. And that's kind of a huge advantage. So that's this customs agency, it's a big deal. So that's why a lot of cities want it. Ian, for our last story, your dream is about to come true. Please contain yourself. We're going back to the trees.
Okay. Do we have to?
Why do you hate trees?
I just don't want to talk about trees for 15 minutes every morning.
Well, it's going to be for 2 minutes. Look, we've got a winner for the tree of the year, I'll have you know. It was Lithuania's oak of Laukii. That's meant to be around 400 years old. It's huge, it's noble, it's beautiful.
I would think nothing less of the winner of the European Tree of the Year.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Poland loses again. Sorry, Poland. Sorry, Dionys. I also asked Commissioner Jørgensen what his favourite tree was. I'll have you know.
Are we going to hear that?
We bloody well are. I have one extremely important question for you. On the podcast yesterday, we were talking about the Eurovision of trees. Tree of the Year is getting crowned today. I'm partial to a birch. What's your favourite tree?
So after 25 years in politics, I get a question I have never gotten before. This is not very imaginatory, but now you say birch, I can feel it in my stomach and my heart that I'm also a birch man.
Oh, well, we're going to end it at that. He's a fellow birch man.
Not a birch man.
He's another birch man. You're the odd one out with your weeping willows.
I think it's a conflict of partiality, the fact that journalist and interviewee are both choosing the same tree there, Zoya.
Maybe it's time for him to branch out. Well, that's about it from us today, folks. I swear I'm not talking about trees again this week. Probably next week, though. Like, subscribe. Please rate us. Don't judge us on the basis.
Probably, not on today's episode.
No. Folks, thanks for joining us. We've loved having you.